Okay, so um, I started theatre in Delhi in 1984, and I started acting first in 83, 84, and then I did my first play as a director in 1984, and a few other plays. So all this time, what I'm trying to say, as the first 15 years of my theatre career, I was directing plays that were written. In 99, we did a first play which was not already written. In fact, there was a play which was not written at all. It was a play called C for Clown, and it was very exciting and scary kind of a journey for us. Uh, so I started with the idea of, okay, I want to do a play with clowns. Okay, that's it. That's all I had to start with. Now, what that play is going to be, I don't know. The script, I don't know. Characters, I had no idea. So we went on. This was in '99, so it was a first for me, kind of a creation, you something which started without a text completely. So it was based out of improvisations, which means what? Which means every day we would meet for 3 or 4 hours and we would improvise around an object, around music, around the thought, around a character, and so on. And keep developing something every day and try and find something which we can use as a text later. So the text was being evolved every day through rehearsals, though we didn't know where we're going with it or what we'll end up with. That's the biggest thing. When you're working with a scripted play, you have an idea of what it is going to be like on stage when it opens. In this case, we had no idea at all. So for many days, we were just working first with the idea of what is a clown. Okay. And then we would say, okay, how does a clown walk? What would be a sad clown? What becomes happiness for a clown? What are the reasons for happiness? Clowns fall in a circus, for example. Now, what does fall mean? And we would explore the ideas of fall. What can fall mean in this context? And slowly, the actors who were improvising with me, they started finding their characters, their clowns, their particular clowns, which was inherent in them somehow, and we tried to explore that bit. And story came on its own organically. We arrived at something. Characters we found. And I remember the first trial show, if you want, was at National College where we were rehearsing, and they allowed us to use their auditorium and gave us an audience. And the play opened, and when the first laugh came from the audience, I can't tell you the relief I felt. Oh God, thank God, it's connecting. Something is there. And then the play ended, and we were like, wow, this is a phenomenal way of proceeding. There's a phenomenal way of working, where you don't know where you're going, but you're going. And it is scary, and can give you a lot of anxiety. But I think I got hooked with that idea. And C for Clown worked really well. Hello, good evening, everybody, and hello. A lot of you are sending my messages. Namaskar and good evening and hello. So, like I said, we'll continue and then we'll come to a Q&A in a bit. When the play was a good success, it opened in '99. It ran till 2009. We did about a little more than 100 shows, and the audience response was fantastic. So this went on for a few years, and then in 2008 I did my next play after a gap of 9 years. And now I had an idea. I said, what if the clowns were to do a classical text? Okay, so what will that amount to? Also, while developing C for Clown, we were wondering, how do clowns talk? What language do they use? So in that process of rehearsal, we found gibberish to be very expressive. Gibberish is not really a language. It's made of incoherent and unrelated words, but somehow it conveys a meaning. I found that very exciting and very useful. For example, if a clown is angry, he doesn't have to say, "What are you saying? Shut up." You can say, it means nothing. But it conveys the message. Uh, so then I thought, if we do Hamlet, how would that be to shift from Shakespeare's text to gibberish and back, and so on. I thought that would be very exciting if clowns are going to do Hamlet. How will they interpret it? With this idea, we started Hamlet. We started rehearsals of Hamlet. Again, I had no idea what the final play will look like. I had no idea what we are going to do with Hamlet, but the idea was exciting enough for us to go ahead. So we applied a similar pattern as we did in See for Clown, a pattern of not knowing the end result, but building it piecemeal, building something every day and building something on top of that next day. So we started working with the text. Of course, a lot of improvisation outside of the text. We were just discovering characters or ideas or abstractions, and then also worked with the text. Okay, so we took up the first scene and said, what is relevant in this to us, and how would clowns play it? And these were the two ideas. What is relevant to us in our time, and to us specifically in our surroundings, in the city that we are, in the country where we are, and so on, and how would clowns do it? So we kept trying, and we kept editing the text. And that process also I find very exciting, to take out the parts which are not needed for us, and B, to work with the timeline in a different. It's like really like you were editing a film. You're cutting a sequence and taking it somewhere else and bringing something else in another place. And that is very exciting. And again, with no idea of what the final play would look like. But you carry on with some kind of a conviction, some kind of an hope, let's say. And then we reached somewhere, which was very exciting, I think. Very, very proud of how Hamlet turned out. Very organic. I don't even take much credit for it, because it was really also a collaborative thing with actors and so on. Without those particular actors, we would not have ended where we were finally. And it worked rather well. So, for example, I'll give you, we took out all the geographical, political stuff of that time, like Fortinbras is coming to attack, Norway is coming. It meant nothing to me at that time. What one was more interested was in the tragedy of Hamlet and the tragedy of Ophelia. And we just picked on those portions of Hamlet's madness, of Ophelia's madness, and tried to build on that. And some of the passages which really work in our play, for example, is how we combined the players coming and performing for Hamlet and his Hamlet speech of "Oh, the rogue and peasant slave I am," or how we brought To Be or Not to Be and Ophelia's nunnery scene together and made them into one scene, and then a whole lot of editing, which I think exists only in our version of this clown Hamlet, nowhere else. In this case, we were going quite in a way with the text, but the way we found here was that we introduced a theatre troupe, the clowns, who are trying to put up Hamlet. Okay, so there is a story of the troupe itself, how they fight with each other, how they, like clowns really, what are their equations and their hierarchies, and there's a director there, and there are actors who have relationships, complications, and so on. And this bad group of actors, clowns, is performing Hamlet. So that gave us the up and down of narratives. So it was at the same time story of Hamlet and the story of this theatre group. And after a few years, I thought, okay, let's try Lear, King Lear, with clowns again. But I didn't want to use the same trope of a group of clowns performing Lear, and that would be very close to Hamlet. And so we had an idea, that it will be a one-actor play. Only one actor Uh, and let's try Lear and see what happens with that. Now, in this case, I was not interested in telling the story of King Lear as written by Shakespeare. What we started doing, we started picking up themes from the play. What is the play about? What is King Lear about? And we discovered it's about parents and children. Definitely, it's about King Lear and his three daughters. It's about old age. It's about loss of power. It's about blindness. It's about betrayal, or at least a sense of betrayal, a feeling of betrayal. It's about nothing. Nothing is a big part of what Lear is. It's about filial ingratitude. It's about madness. So these were the themes we kind of thought would be good to explore, and we started working with these themes, these very, very broad themes. Starting with the clown who's depressed. And when you're depressed, you go and see a clown show. When a clown is depressed, where does he go? What does he do? We started with that idea because King Lear is a huge tragedy, and Lear the king is depressed, to say the least, which is leading to madness. So we started with just that, and then kept building, like I said, on themes. What does loss of power mean? And what does parents and children mean? And we started relating it to our lives. Atul was part of the rehearsal process, and so was Vinay. They both played alternate layers. And we started talking about our parents and about our children. And as chance would have it, I have a daughter, Atul has a daughter, and Vinay has two daughters. So we started talking about our daughters and their birth and how we felt when we became fathers, and what was it like with our fathers when we were. So all of that became part of the play. The Lear, Shakespeare's Lear, was going through us and through our lives, and it found a type, found a shape through us, so to speak. And then we built up kind of a story of this father who's has a daughter, and the ecstasy he feels at that time, and of course there's a bastard brother in Lear, so that also became part of our story very much. And then at the end of the play, when the father is old and he's not needed anymore, and he's lost everything and he's given everything away to the daughters, the daughter shuns him, or at least he thinks that she has shunned him, and he curses her. And then the scene in the rain and the storm and thunder. So it goes between, again, our father character and King Lear, and it goes between our kind of a gibberish, of a clown gibberish, and text from Shakespeare's Lear, and it's done with one actor, and it became very exciting and fruitful. So that became our Lear, and when we opened the play, it became very moving. It's a funny play, it's a clown play, and it's still very moving. It's still about a loss. So that I think was very exciting. That clowns can not only make you laugh but can make you cry. And then after that, in 2015, so this was in 2011. Hamlet in 2008, Lear in 2011, and 2015. I was a little more ambitious, and I took on two Shakespeare plays almost together, back to back, Macbeth and As You Like It. Again, the struggle is always always to find a form, because you're trying to create something. What is the most important is the form. So you're doing Macbeth, but for me it is, or Lear or Hamlet. But for me it's not exciting to do Hamlet or Macbeth as written by Shakespeare. What is the excitement in that? For me, it's not there. I'm sorry if people disagree, and I hope they do, and they should, because everybody has to bring their own idea to the table. But for me, it is not exciting. For me, it has to go through us at this moment, in this society, in this world. Only That's the only way an old text will survive, and I think Shakespeare has that in him. His text has it in them, and that's the reason why they've survived for 400 years, because they mean so much. They mean so much more uh, than anything else to every generation for the last 400 years. They're able to give meanings, uh, possibilities of meanings to every generation. I mean, I gather something from Macbeth's tragedy, or Lear's, or Hamlet. I see something of Hamlet's dilemma in me as a modern man. So, like I was saying, it needs to go through us and arrive uh, at a play which does not lose its origin, its identity, and still it is different and unique and different from anything else that has been done anywhere else in the world. Only then it is exciting. Only then it is special. Only then it is something that I would be interested in going out to watch, because not because it's Shakespeare's text that I can read at home, but because it's coming from you. It is your text now. Aryan Dhingra says, so please comment on your play you directed in the Old Delhi Theatre Festival with Vinay Pathak. I just did. That was Nothing Like Lear. So that Art Lear is called Nothing Like Lear because it is Shakespeare's King Lear, but it is nothing like Lear. It is really Art Lear. And Shyam Rajgopalan says, I watched Sifu Clown at Museum Theatre Chennai in 2000. That's right. What a beautiful theatre that was. That is Museum Theatre. It was the first time we performed in Chennai, and we were lucky to be in Museum Theatre. It just meant so much. It was a gorgeous experience. I still remember that show very much. Thank you. Tushar Raman says, who are your favorite classical as well as modern playwrights and why? I think for me, now having dealt with Shakespeare so much over the last 12 years, I think Shakespeare, I'll always keep going back to Shakespeare. When I started theatre, I was very influenced by absurd theatre, existential theatre, so called. The existential movement, actually. I was very. Waiting for Godot was one of my favorite plays. So Beckett and Sartre and Camus and their work was. So we did a lot of Genet, and I liked Genet very much. Jean Genet from France. Some Ionesco, not everything. Waiting for Godot by Beckett, for sure, and then Genet. Unfortunately, I've not read so much of Hindi theatre or Indian theatre, but Karnad's Tughlaq, of course, is fabulous. I think one of the best things written, in my opinion, in India. I really like that play very much, and I think it's very deep. It is very, it's really Shakespearean in many ways. It's the structure is phenomenal. And that was one of the first plays that Chingari did in 1983, in which I played Aziz. I worked as an actor in that play. 99 December, was it? Rajgopalan, maybe. Not 2000, then 99 December, but close enough. Hello Shulba, good evening. Good evening, Bindu. Any directors you especially admire? Tushar Ramanosa is asking, and why? For me, in this country, nobody comes close to Ratan Thyam. I like him very much. I've been watching his plays for the last 30 years, I think. One of the first things I saw was in Delhi at Pragati Maidan. And then when he came to Bombay Festival, Prithvi Theatre Festival, and then he's just phenomenal. The rigor he has, that he brings to his plays, his actors are phenomenal. What he creates with their bodies and with his mise en scène, I think it's really unmatched in this country. I would go miles to watch Ratan Thyam's plays. Other than Ratan Tayam, I liked Habib Tanveer Saab's work a lot. These are the two great masters whose work I revere and admire. So please share your thoughts about directing a play or acting in a play. Which cap is more difficult for a person as per you? For me, acting in theatre is difficult because I'm not really a theatre actor. I find it very hard. Hard in the sense I don't enjoy it so much. I think I enjoy acting in cinema, but in theatre I don't enjoy it so much. I enjoy directing a lot, though it is much harder. I think it is. It can drive you nuts. It can. You need a collaboration of your actors, which is not always easy, and you're trying to create with actors almost as if they were props in theatre, and you're really dependent on their energy and their creative inputs a lot. So I enjoy that collaboration very much, but it's very hard, and every time a play has to open 2 weeks before the opening, I get terrible anxiety dreams. But that's okay. That's part of the job, and it's part of the enjoyment also. I think that anxiety. Do you recommend any books on performing or directing Shakespeare? I have not read any book on performing or directing Shakespeare. I have no idea. You must ask that to somebody who's more knowledgeable than I am. I really have no idea. Dash Vitlani says, sir, please share what do you think before selecting the film. As an actor, I normally look at my role, look at the script, and look at the director. These are the three things. If you're asking me what do I look for as an actor while selecting a role, these are the three things. Sometimes the script is good, and even if your role is not good, but you want to be part of something good because it's there, because somebody's trying something, I would say yes. It has happened many times. Sometimes the role is very good, but the script is not so good, we still say yes. I think if 2 out of these 3 criteria are met, then it's good enough. Any favorite actors who perform Shakespeare well? I've not watched that much Shakespeare. I only know my actors who perform Shakespeare. I don't know if they act Shakespeare well, perform Shakespeare well, or they perform clowns well, because I've only done Shakespeare through clowns. So I don't think I can answer that. But I can tell you who are my favorite clowns. There is Neil Bopalam, there's Pooja Saroop, there is Vinay Pathak, there's Faiz Jalali, there's Atul Kumar, there's Adar Malik now. These are my favorite clowns. Aditi says the basic theatre etiquette has been keeping your phones away while watching a play. Now the same screen is turning into a live stage for many. Your thoughts? I don't know. I don't think a recorded play has the same, not only same emotional resonance, but I don't even think it has the same meaning as a live performance. A live performance is something else. It's a ritual. It's like going to a temple. When you go to a temple, I'm an atheist, but still, even for me, going to a temple or a church or a mosque or a gurudwara is something. It has a feeling. It has a feeling of that space, which, if you were to take a photograph of a deity or a temple, it's not the same thing. It can serve the purpose of belief, but the experience is not the same. So for me, recorded theatre will never be the same as theatre, and it's not about technology or anything. It is about the space. It's about being there, and that's a huge difference. Which is your favorite play, sir? Desh is asking, which is my favorite play? As written, I don't know. Right now, maybe it's Macbeth, but it changes. After 3 years, it'll be something else. Maybe after 6 months, it'll be something else. So, Desh perhaps says, tell about your experience in theatre life. Well, that's what we've been talking about. I discovered theatre, so Desh, quite accidentally. because I was always a film person since I was 13, 14, and I wanted to be a filmmaker at that age also. But I was not a theatre person. I did not watch theatre. Of course, I didn't do theatre. I didn't even know theatre existed. I had no knowledge of it. I discovered theatre quite accidentally when I went to Alliance Francaise to learn French. There was a group there. They were rehearsing, and I just went in to join the rehearsal, just to see what they're doing. And I got hooked. I got hooked for life. I think it's one of the best addictions that exists in the world. And it can really give you a high. It's just a mad high. Theatre is a great high. सर आपके नए आने वाले प्रोजेक्ट कौन कौन से हैं? Right now these 4 Shakespeare plays are running. Shakespeare clown plays. Hamlet, Lear, I Don't Like It As You Like It, and What's Done Is Done, which is our adaptation of Macbeth. Next year I want to do a new play. This time it's something that I've written. Let's see how that goes. Let's see what difference that makes as a piece of theatre. And in terms of films, my new film called Kadak has just been released on Sony Live just 2 weeks back. And there's another film that I'm completing now called RK. It should be out early next year, I think. One performance of yours you want to repeat on stage? Something that I did on stage and never want to repeat? I've not done many plays on stage as an actor, but I remember Waiting for Godot. Tughlaq I acted in, and it was great fun, but I don't know if I want to repeat that. Waiting for Godot would be good. I played Estravan, Gogo in that. I have great fond memories of that play. K. Chandrasekhar directed it. He is now in Canada. We did about 15 shows of that play and never performed again. I enjoyed acting in that play. And I did a few shows of C for Clown. That play is closed in 2009. I enjoyed being on stage as a clown, yes, very much. Shyam Rajgopalan says, so what would you advise to artists who have no way to continue their theatre career and feel helpless to start their own theatre company? Shyam, difficult question, and I don't know if there's an answer to that, or if I can answer that. I think you'll have to find specific answer to that specific problem, to whoever has it. No way to continue the theatre career, right? There's always a way to continue theatre, because theatre is easy in that sense. It does not depend on too many things, Even amateur theatre is possible, and amateur theatre is very often great. When we had Chingari, it was an amateur group, everybody had a job. So they would work from 9 to 6 and they would come to rehearsal at 8. We would start rehearsal at 8 p.m. and go until 11:30 every day. And everybody goes and does their job next day and comes back to. And that energy is great. I think it's sometimes even more gratifying than a professional troupe, because this is something you're doing for joy, for fun, and I really think theatre is possible. It does not need too much money. It just needs a few people with similar passion, and it can be done. Milind says, how to connect you? I'm a new actor. Milind, I'm not doing anything right now. Maybe next year. I don't know how you'll connect with me. You'll just have to find out when I'm starting a new film. How would you describe a journey of exploration and experimentation as a theatre director? Vipul Jindal is saying. How would I like to describe my journey of exploration and experimentation as a theatre director? I don't know. It is not for me to describe it, Vipul. Because when you're working on an instinct, So I feel that even as a filmmaker or a theatre director, you work on a hunch. You work because something excites you, something pulls you to it. And you don't even have a concrete idea of what it is that pulls you. But it wants to come out somehow. And then you are a medium in a way. Not trying to be metaphysical about it, but really in truthful words, you're a medium And that thing is so strong, that idea is so strong that it wants to uh, be expressed, wants to find a form. And you're there trying to find that form, trying to find the best possible, to your best possible ability, and truthful. And it happens. A play happens, a film happens. You know. So, for example, when I'm writing a script, I'm not saying this is this is the kind of character I want to write about. No, but there's a kind of a character who comes to me, who intrigues me, and then I have to write about it. So you know what I'm saying. It's not that I think and rationalize and so go on a certain path. No, I'm pulled on that path, and then I have to follow the lead. So I think an artist is not the best person to describe his own journey. He has to make the journey. I think description has to come from somewhere else. Vicky says, good evening. I love your acting. Thank you very much. How will our Indian theatre revive after the lockdown? That's a huge question, man. We don't know. We don't know how and when will people be brave enough to go back into a theatre space. I don't know when I will want to go into theatre space to watch a play. Maybe December, maybe January, maybe next March. Maybe after the vaccine comes and we all feel safer to be with other human beings. Yeah, it'll take time. But I think once we are out of this, whenever it is, January, February, March, or whatever, when we are out of it, we'll be really back to it. Because it's a need, and you can't deny that need for too long. Any incident during a Chingari days? Any incident? It was, like I said, Chingari was a theatre, amateur theatre group, where people worked. So the friendships, that's the amazing thing. I think they're one of the most remarkable things. Some of the people in 83, 84, let me name them: Raman Chawla, K. Madhavan, Kumar Ramaiya, Sylvia Chawla, Atul Kumar, Rahul Vora, K. Chandrasekhar, Vijaya Jayanti, Nevenka Milkovic. These people, Sorab Handa, these people were all there. Kumar Ramaiya. These people were there when Chingari was formed in 1983, 84. Some came in 84. That's 36, 37 years back. And these people, this group of people, is still friends. We still meet, we still sometimes work together. Atul and I have been doing plays together even now, after 30, 35 years of association. I think that is phenomenal. That says something about these people. And that says something about Chingari. That says something about amateur theatre. How it brings people together, how it forms bonds and friendships which stay forever. One can safely say forever in this case. 40 years is a hell of a long time. While directing a play, any actor with whom you feel most comfortable and who has been most challenging? I think Jaydev is asking this. I think now the last 5 plays I've done, there's one constant actor in all these 5 plays. From Sleeper Clown to As You Like It is Vinay Pathak. He has become an integral part of my plays in the last 5 years. In the last 20 years, from 99 to now. What he brings, forget what he brings on stage. He's a remarkable actor. He's more than remarkable. He's an amazing actor. But what he brings to the group is phenomenal. Because his whole energy, his kindness. I wrote to him recently, just out of the blue, on email. I said, Mr. Pathak, you're the glue who keeps the clowns together. And I really feel that. He just keeps everyone together. He's just beautiful. He's beautiful as a person. And his kindness, anybody who meets him, and anybody especially who works with him, will feel that. So yeah, he's the most, he's the dearest actor that I have right now. Tushar says, do you utilize improvisation during the rehearsal process? If so, any particular advantages? Your insights, please. Tushar, the whole process is improvisation. I don't know if you were there at the beginning of this talk, but when I was describing how we arrive at a play, it is only through improvisations. Uh, because we start without a text, or if we start with a text, we use it as a jumping boat to take a leap from. So everything is improvisation. When we arrive at a play, it has arrived at only through improvisations, which build on each other on every day. So you do something on day one, and then you rehearse for maybe 4 hours, and you find 2 minutes of material which is worthwhile, and you keep that. And on the next day, you try and build from there or on that, and then you find again through improvisations a few more minutes, and that's the process. Sagar Shahaji Katam says, sir, as per you, is there any difference between working with amateur theatre actors or professional theatre actors? Well, lots. I think a professional theatre actor will bring his a whole set of skills to work with, which will make your life as a director much easier. Whereas an amateur theatre actor might bring a lot of enthusiasm. In theatre, should completely be an artist? Question I can't understand. In theatre, should completely be an artist, be director's actor, or is it good if he improvises the character as he wish? I think it has to be a collaboration between an actor and a director. It can't be just one. He can't improvise on his own, and the director can't tell him what to do either. So it has to be a two-way process. An actor improvises something and shows it and presents it to the director, maybe many options, and the director chooses one of those options and say, maybe we can build on this, and the actor goes back to the stage and tries something else, and so on. You build together. It is not either or situation. Karak movie was fun to watch. Hiren is saying, party 2 coming. I don't know. I don't know when. I hope so. Maybe in another form. Maybe not Karak, something else. Nikhil Shetty says, please tell me the best approach to keep in mind while approaching theatre directors for joining the group. Nikhil, I would not know that. Because I don't know. If you came maybe to our group and said, I want to work, I would say, come and start. If I'm doing a play. But if I'm not doing a play, a new play, then there is nothing. There's no work going on right now. There are some other theatre companies which are working all the time. Just go, approach them. And I think show your commitment and passion. I think that works the best. Sagar is saying, is there any play which you watch as an audience and that play make you mesmerized? There are quite a few. There's a play by Mohit. The play is called, forget what the play is called. It's a one-actor play. So sorry, Ipsita is acting in it. Phenomenal play. I think it's called Mathematician. Very, very fine play. Mesmerizing. Like I said, Ratan Thayyam's play, any play of his. Some of our contemporaries, Pooja Saroop and Sheena Khalid, do wonderful plays. Foize Jalali sometimes does wonderful plays. These are very, very exciting works, which are happening right now. Whoa, what now? When your actors and your thoughts do not match for execution for a particular scene, how do you manage the situation? Again, like I said, it's not an either or, it's a give and take. If the actor says, no, I want to play it like this, I said, okay, try it. But maybe you can also try like this, So it's not an ego thing, it's not at least not with the actors I work and not with me. It is, I don't think you can work with ego, especially in theatre, which is such a collaborative act. So you have to have a lot of trust, I think. You as a director in your actors and actors in you. Otherwise nothing will work. If the trust is not there, then everything becomes a pain. Also the joy of creating is out of the window. It's not about anything else, but it's about creation with joy. And if joy is absent, then what good is creation? Any personal favorite actor whom you admire most? Actors that I worked with, I said Vinay Pathak and Atul Kumar, I would say. Actors that I like to watch, Nasir Saab, anytime. Your take on Marathi plays? I've not watched many. I watched very few, so I can't really comment on that. Sir, is that Ismat Apak in Naam, right? Is what Ismat Apak in Naam? Plays. I like it very much. Ismat Apak in Naam. Manoj Pawar is wonderful on stage. In one of the stories, Ismat took the story that Nasir Saab is directed. Nasir Saab himself is great in one of those stories. Your lockdown learnings. My lockdown learnings, that is not very difficult to get anxiety, and that we are all, nobody is far from it, and it can get you. So you have to really constantly find joy in little things, and solitude can be hard. Is my learning from lockdown. It has its benefits, it has its beauty, but it can be hard, especially something that's imposed upon you. And I was thinking actually only yesterday, what they talk about in prison movies and in novels about solitary confinement. My God, it can actually drive you nuts. Imagine not seeing anybody. Imagine a place which is 6 by 6 feet, and you spend 1 week, a month in that space without seeing sunlight. It can actually do things to your mind. Lockdown learnings. Ivan Rodriguez says to be a good actor, one has to be a good human being. Your view on this, Rajat? I suppose so. I suppose to be a good anything, you have to be a good human being. But of course, these are intangibles. Good itself is an intangible. It's very hard to say who's good and who's not good. And my belief is that people are good. People are basically good human beings. Is my belief. Tushar says your thoughts in approaching casting. I'd like to hear your insights. Thanks. I have a clearer idea of casting when I'm making a film. And I do a hell of a lot of auditions for my films. And I do have an idea of what it is that one is looking for. And so it's a very interesting process. Because you write something, write a script, and you create characters. But these characters are not real people. They are figments of your imagination. They are something that you dreamt of. Maybe they were based on real people. It's possible. But they're still not real people. And so when you're casting, you're looking, what are you looking for? In films. I'm only speaking of films right now. What you're looking for is somebody who comes close to that imagined character. You're not even looking for a skillful rendering of what you've written. That's not the idea. You're looking for a being who's close in some way to what you've written. It's not about, I'm a good actor, I can do it. Sure, for any written role, there are at least, 5,000, 10,000, 50,000 good actors who can do it. And who can do a good job of it. Of course, you don't meet 5,000 actors, you meet maybe 100, maybe 70 actors. So of course there is some criteria of look, of age, and then so on. But beyond that, okay, so even in that particular age group, let's say, let me give an example of Amma in Aankhon Dekhi. So we were looking for obviously somebody who's about 50, 55, a certain type. And then you meet many actors of that age group. And they're all good actors. They all bring something to that character that you've written. But when Seema Pawar came, boom. Everybody in the room knew this is Amma. What did she bring? What did she bring to it? She brought her personality, her being into that audition. And we all knew that this is Amma. What she will bring to this character, And then your job as a director is half over vis-a-vis actors. I don't have to tell her anything. I don't have to explain anything to her because she is it. She knows. She instinctively knows where to take it, where to pitch it, how to say these lines. You know. And it is again, I'm saying it is not about how skillful an actor is. Of course, she brings her skill to it, but so does another actor. Uh, but this particular actor brings something more, and that something more again is factor X. Please enlighten on the technique of quick expression changes, especially in ads. Anup is asking. Uh, I don't know. There is no trick. Uh, it's a. I don't know. I think it's about being in the moment. It's mostly that. If you're truthful of that moment, of that emotion, I think it happens. It's not something that you're doing. You're going inside and trying to find that emotion, and the expression I think is revealed on the face. Shabani Ghoi says, "Sir, please tell us about organic theatre." I don't know what that is. If you're a little more specific, maybe I'll understand what you mean by organic theatre. I don't know. What was your experience in the film Drishyam? Dash is asking. Well, it was a good script and not a very difficult role to perform. What are your thoughts on Broadway musical plays? I have not seen many, but I'm not very excited by that kind of straightforward rendering of a play. So, I mean, it depends. Again, it's not a genre. It depends on who's the director, what is the play. It can be a great work. It can be a very bad work. Good evening, Ashok Upadhyay. Vikram is saying, according to you, which character was more challenging for you? I mean, you did a lot of search studies to find about particular character as an actor or director. I must tell you, I'm not the kind of actor who does a lot of research to play a role. I don't. What works for me and what I like to work with is the look of the character. And I think once you find the look of the character in terms of what he's wearing, what he looks like, does he have a beard or mooch or Jaydev is saying, has it ever happened to you that after putting all the hard work, audience has not appreciated the play? In that situation, how do you boost yours and actor's confidence? That's a good one. Even if it does not happen for a play, it happens for shows. There are some terrible shows, and any theatre professional will tell you that this is something that they've learned to live with. Even on the same day, 6 o'clock show is terrible. 9 o'clock is a great show. This is the lesson that theatre really teaches you, to find equilibrium in life, to find equanimity, to take the good with the bad, to really truly believe this too shall pass. It's hard, but it's a hard lesson. There are some plays which didn't work. Baal was one such play, and it's heartbreaking. But again, you have to accept it, and you have to accept failure as a possible result of your endeavors in film, in theatre, in life. Because if you're scared of failure, then you'll be scared to really push yourself. I think with every project that is a genuine fear. What if this doesn't work? Because you don't know where you're going. Like I said, you have an instinct, you have a hunch, and you're backing yourself up 100% on that hunch. But what happens to it eventually is not in your control. You're hoping it'll turn out well. You're hoping it'll be a success in those terms. You're hoping it'll be success in the terms of what you started with as an image in your head, in your imagination, and how you were able to translate it or not. That is the success or failure of a project. And of course, how audience reacts to it after that. You're hoping for the best. But failure is a is a possibility at all times. You have to be ready to accept that. Uh, Please suggest as creative people at these times what can we do to work on our craft. Any creative suggestions how one can try to earn in these times as an artist? I don't know. A lot of people are doing it on Zoom. A lot of people are doing it on Instagram. They have found ways to earn, make money. Not very much, I suppose, but some people have. Uh, how to hone your art? I don't know. Read, write, create. Creative people find a way. What has kept me sane in these last 4 months is the fact of writing. I've been writing my scripts. I've finished two, and I've started my third feature film script, uh, which is not bad going. Of course, it's not the optimum. I could have written more, but it's not bad, and it's keeping me sane. What do you think theatre may look like when things do begin to start up? Like I said again, already said, uh, we don't know when we'll be ready to go back. But once we are ready to go back, maybe after the vaccine, I think there'll be a lot of demand for theatre. There'll be a lot of drive to go out to watch a play. Sham is saying, sir, I meant mind theatre like Il Restaurant, the Germans played with masks without dialogues. Like I said, in Sea for Clowns, there's a lot of that. Beyond that, I've not done. That was Chaitanya Bahul. So, do you think actors' bad mood before the play can affect the live performance? I think so, of course, because they're living beings, they're human beings. I think most actors with some experience, uh, find their own way to overcome that uh, that instant. They find their way, the mechanics of not going into a bad mood before a performance, of getting ready for the show. Whether it's some do yoga, some go on stage and do this, some scream and shout, some go into almost a meditation kind of a thing. Some take half an hour to do their makeup, and I think that is their meditation. So all actors have their own rituals, uh, which sets them up to be in the right state of mind for a show. Good evening, Kriti. Sarbani is saying organic theatre is like similar with Proscenium theatre. Okay, that doesn't tell me very much. I'm sorry, I'm still in the dark. Sagar is saying, sir, how do you prepare before the stage performance? I How do I prepare before I go on stage? I get a little nervous for show, before every show. I think I try and cover that by going ballistic, going mad, by clowning around, by pushing around, by panicking, by false panicking, fraud panicking, running around, and so on. And then I like to, when others have gone, I like to sit on my own for 5 minutes and close my eyes just before I go on stage. Those 5 minutes are important. Yep, that's it. I think it's been an hour. Thank you very much for being here. Uh, I really had fun talking about this and interacting. Uh, it would have been nice if I could also see you guys and the interaction was more direct, but that is not this works, I suppose. So maybe another time. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the very best. And these difficult times, please take care of yourselves, everybody. Find ways of pleasure, of calm, of joy. Find joy in little things. There is a lot of that around us. Yeah. Please be sane, be safe, be careful, and come out of it stronger somehow and happier. Because the world is beautiful, life is beautiful. Uh, Thank you very much.